Welcome back to JP26. This is your boy JP. And of course, this is Studio 26. We got 6 storylines from the world of sports to go over. And you might be wondering, why you got a storm going on right now? What's this storm about? Well, I'm here to tell you. You're going to get ready for the...
Hurricane.
We got all that and more on today's episode. You are not going to want to miss it. This sports week is crazy. Hence why it's a storm. Guys, come on.
Don't ever come by here. Okay?
Keep it real, JP. 2-6 for the studio. What's the deal lately? To the 6 storylines we go. Keep it real, JP. 2-6 for the studio. What's the deal lately? To the 6 storylines we go. Hey, JP. Please don't flex today. I mean that for your sake, not ours.
Storyline number 6 comes to us from the National Football League. All right. Yeah, we just had the draft, and sure, I gave my half-ass grades, and that was all well and good. But we have one trade this week that is taking the internet by storm.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
So anyway, I think it's a great move for the Dallas Cowboys. Honestly, there was a part of me that thought that the Steelers were going to hold on to Pickens as well as DK Metcalf and just play that vertical, 2 big receivers, figure out who you want to double game. But that ended up not being the case. The Steelers shipped Pickens off to the Cowboys, which I think is a fantastic move for the Cowboys. Now, full disclosure, if I had to pick the top 4 teams coming out of that NFC East, it's still going to go Eagles, Commanders, then the Cowboys, then like a 50 feet of crap, and then the Giants. But the Cowboys have done well to take themselves out of that. They were into 50 feet of crap. They were like within that before. Now they've rose up right above that because of this trade. And a big reason is because I think that it hit such a need. When I look at the Cowboys, year to year, defenses can get better. They can get worse. The defense for me on the Cowboys can get a lot better than it was last year, just simply off the Cowboys offense not being so shit.
What does that have to do with it?
No. He's got a point.
So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the Cowboys defense is a lot improved from last year. And that simply starts with the fact that they have somebody as talented as Micah Parsons. When you have a guy on your defense that's that talented, it wouldn't shock me from one year to the next for them to get right back into being a really good defense.
I've got it. The ultimate wager, slap bet.
Oh, slap bet. We used to do those when I was a kid.
What the hell's a slap bet?
Whoever's right gets to slap the other person in the face as hard as they possibly can, but no rings.
I think that Dak is going to be somebody that benefits a lot from this trade because you're finally going to get George Pickens, who's going to be happy. He finally has a quarterback that can get him the ball when it's appropriate, right? Like when there's those one-on-one situations where George has complained in the past that he's not getting the ball, Dak's going to get him the ball in those situations because Dak has already shown he will get the ball to CeeDee Lamb whenever he can, whenever CeeDee's open. Well, CeeDee's going to draw so much attention that it's going to be forced to get George Pickens opportunities. There's going to be some one-on-ones for George, and that is where I think he's going to shine. So I still favor the other 2 teams in that division that I had already favored over the Cowboys before this trade was made, but I think this gives them a much better chance to give themselves a chance in that division. Still don't think it's a great chance, but they do give themselves a chance. Things happen in football, and even more so, give themselves a much better chance as a wild card, which now I think they should be one of the favorites to get the wild card. So that is my opinion on it. Good trade for the Cowboys, and apparently good for the Steelers, because I think they were over George Pickens being in the building, from what I understand.
Great work. See if you can read this. You're fired. And in case your ears are fucked, get the fuck out!
The fuck is Aaron Rodgers, by the way? Is Aaron Rodgers signing with him? What's going on with that? Anybody know? Storyline number 5. It's the Dodgers. And this evil motherfucker right here, Shohei Ohtani.
But y'all don't say that.
All right. He's not evil. All right. I admit it. But he's evil to me. Okay? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing these motherfuckers in first place every time I look up in Major League Baseball. We had a nice 3-4 weeks. They weren't in first throughout baseball. We look at other teams being first. Nope. Here they go. Back to first place. And they probably won't get rid of it the rest of the year. They'll probably just remain in first place for the rest of the fucking year, because that's what the Dodgers do.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad.
So everybody enjoy it. Say, good job, Dodgers. You spent a bunch of money, and now everybody gets to watch you win a bunch of baseball games.
You self-righteous blackballing little cunt bag.
Well, a nice day to both of you.
Asshole fuckface.
A quick prayer to Osvaldo Cabrera and his family. If you guys don't know, he had a horrific injury with the Yankees while we were watching that live. At the time of recording for me right now, that happened yesterday. By the time you guys watch this video, it will be at least 2 days from then. But pretty awful stuff. Nobody really wants to see that. Obviously, nobody roots for that. It's all well and good for us to talk shit to each other and about each other's teams and our teams being better and all of those things. But nobody ever wants to see a player get injured, especially like that. So prayers to Osvaldo and his family. I hope he makes a full recovery. I highly doubt he'll be back anytime this year. But, you know, prayers to him, and I hope he makes a full recovery and we get to see him back next year at full capacity. Storyline number 4 comes to us from Europe. And yeah, a lot of you guys might not be the biggest soccer fans. Football fans for my Europeans. You know what I mean? But I'm here to tell you that if you're not going to watch soccer all year round, you at least should watch the Champions League. All right? Champions League, for those of you who don't know, is a gathering of all of the best teams in Europe. Okay? England, Spain, Germany. I'm sure there are other European countries as well.
History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
Europe has a bunch of clubs in all these different countries, right? And they get together and they play in a big tournament. And at the end of the tournament, you end up, as most tournaments do, with 2 teams playing each other.
Well, no fucking shit.
So this year, we have Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter Milan.
What do you think? Nice. Jesus. That is really super. How did a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
And it's going to be a fucking barn burner. I'm telling you guys, if you've been watching the NBA playoffs and you've been watching the NHL playoffs, you know that something that's in the air right now where sports are just going nuts and a lot of these games are coming down to crazy finishes. There is the same thing happening right now in the Champions League, and I expect nothing different than that in the final.
You're a doorman, okay? You're a doorman. 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 Doorman! So, you. You with your little.
So that game is going to be in Germany on May 31st. It's the last day of this month. So if you guys don't normally watch soccer, or you do normally watch soccer, or whatever, just make sure that you tune in that day, May 31st, if you get a chance to watch the Champions League final. Because here's the other thing about it. I know a lot of my casual soccer fans out there, they'll watch the international play, right? Like when we get to the World Cup, you know, there's a lot of people who will start tuning into those games, and they think that that's the highest caliber of football because you have all of the best countries playing each other. But sort of the same way that this happens in the NBA is sort of the same way that you'll see it happen at the professional level in soccer. And that's that the best play isn't really the countries playing each other, because the countries playing each other, it's like a tournament that happens for a few months, once every 4 years. There's not a huge opportunity for these guys to build that much chemistry, right? Like building chemistry can take a lot of time. You know, that's kind of the whole point. Well, the club tournament thing, these are the teams, right? Like these are the teams. These guys play together for a long time now. They got coaches in there that's been there for a while. So you're really going to see the best chemistry. This is the best that soccer truly gets on the highest stage. So personally, if you're the type of person who thinks that World Cup football is good enough for you to watch, then I would highly encourage you to do the same for Champions League and give that a shot as well.
How about no?
Storyline number 3 comes to us from the UFC. And for those of you who don't know, we had 2 championship fights happen this last weekend, with Belal Muhammad defending his belt against Jack Della Maddalena and Valentina Shevchenko defending her belt against Marion Fiorot. And only one of the 2 champions were successful. We will come back to the main event here in just a moment, but let's start off with Valentina Shevchenko versus Marion Fiorot. Basically, it was a very close fight. A lot of people actually thought Fiorot won the fight. Fiorot was winning a lot of the exchanges when it came to being in the clinch. She was kind of getting the better of Valentina, but the reality was Valentina was getting the better of her anytime they were not in close range and anytime they were separated. She was busting Marion Fiorot up pretty good.
Man, you should have been bobbing and weaving.
And wearing it on her face. I think because of the damage and because of how it looked is ultimately why Valentina won, but the reality is she did win. So we move on from that fight, and I don't think anybody's that upset about it, because while Fiorot did bring the fight, she's not exactly the most technically skilled. She just kind of relies on the fact that she's really long and she forces her fight, and not exactly the most exciting fighter. So I think we're all pretty excited that Shevchenko won. Now, on the other hand, who is Shevchenko going to fight next? Well, then you have Silva come in and fight Grasso and absolutely clean her up. I mean, it really wasn't even close, if we're all being honest with each other. This girl looked way too fast. Her kicks are way too good. She's physically unreal. She has a crazy self-belief. She looks like she's having fun at all times. She's got a great smile, and that's got to mean something, you know? Yeah, and of course, Valentina could go right out there and get rid of Natalia Silva, just like she's gotten rid of a lot of other girls. But there's something telling me that we have a changing of the guard happening in that division, and I think this girl, Natalia Silva, is going to win that belt. That's what I think. I've thought it for a while watching this girl fight. When I look at her technique, when I look at how athletic she is, how explosive she is, the self-belief, there's a lot to be said for a lot of those things. She has high character, right? Look at Valentina Shevchenko. Those are all qualities that you could, ascribe to her, right? Which is why she's been such a dominant champion for so long. But Father Time catches up to all of us.
I can't let you in because you're old as fuck.
As far as the main event with Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena. Shout out to Belal Muhammad, because I think a lot of people thought he would go out there and just crotch sniff the entire time, which ultimately may have played better for him had he done that. But there's also a chance that he felt something in there with Jack that he thought it would make it harder to do that. Like maybe Jack was feinting uppercuts. Maybe Jack had some knees loaded. It's hard to really know when you're not the one in the fight. When these guys are in there and they can feel the distance, they can kind of feel each other's quickness and where each other's are on certain movements. So I'm sure there were ways to mix in takedowns for Belal if he could, but he did, ultimately. And, there was actually a time he got Jack down and Jack ended up getting right back up. So Jack ended up piecing Bilal up for the most part on the feet, although Bilal certainly had his moments and certainly caught Jack a number of times on the feet. Jack caught him a lot more. And there was a number of times when I thought that Jack was going to put Bilal away, but credit to Bilal because he has a chin made of fucking granite, apparently. You know what I mean? That guy did not at all get anywhere close to being finished, even though I think a lot of guys in that division are getting finished from a ton of those shots that Jack landed. But Bilal is about as tough as they come, so he made it a hell of a fight. And ultimately, Jack is your new world champion, and that opens up a lot of things. Now, from what we understood before the fight going in, Islam was going to move up to welterweight if Bilal lost, because he didn't want to fight Bilal. But now that Bilal is not there, he is okay to move up and fight Jack. And there's a little bit of a storyline there, right? Because now you have Islam looking to avenge Bilal, and you have JDM looking to avenge Volk, right? So we have a little bit of a storyline there, okay? I like it. I kind of like it. And I think that Jack is a big boy, right? And I think he's really talented. So I think that this might be Islam's toughest test. I don't think that he's fought anybody that's going to present as many problems as Jack. And I know a lot of people are going to think that's crazy because you have Volkanovski. But you got to remember that Volkanovski is a smaller dude.
You should stand up because we can barely see you on the screen.
Volkanovski is not as big of a man as Jack. Jack is a big boy. He's a fully filled out welterweight. This is where he should be fighting, and he presents a lot of problems. He's got long arms. He's got great boxing technique, and we will see if he is big and athletic enough to keep Islam off of him when it goes to the ground. If it goes to the ground, all of those things. But I am actually really excited for that fight. That's going to be a banger, and I think that, despite the fact that Islam's probably going to go into that fight as a huge favorite. You can do it! You're talking about a guy in Islam who was a massive 155er, but to go from 155 to 170, is he going to look as massive, against somebody that's actually 170 and actually putting on weight on top of that? I don't know. So we're going to see how that turns out, but I'm very excited about that matchup. And then that moves in to Poirier to fight Charles Oliveira for the lightweight championship. And these two have been chirping back and forth at each other. Maybe they kind of suspected this might happen. So there has been a little bit of chirping about disrespect and, you got a bunch of losses on your record. Oh, you think you're going to just come in here and take over? There's been a lot of that. So I'm actually excited about that one as well. But this should be awesome. I love the fact that everything's now moving around a bit in the UFC, and we're going to see where the cards fly. But that is storyline number 3.
I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
To the NHL playoffs, where the Canes are currently putting a whooping on the Washington Capitals. Looks like they're about to bounce the 1 seed out of the playoffs. They are now up 3-1 at the time of recording this episode. Also, it looks as though the Oilers are going to bounce the Golden Knights out of the playoffs. A lot of people for a long time have thought that Connor McDavid and Draisaitl are eventually going to have their year where they get to the Stanley Cup final and win it. And this year, it's looking like they might have the team to do that. They are currently putting a beat down on the Golden Knights. There's a possibility that the series ends up the same way with the Stars and the Jets. Right now, it is 2-1 Stars over the Jets at the time of this recording. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, Mikko Rantanen is going fucking ballistic.
How? He is the one.
This guy is absurd. Honestly, if there wasn't so much going on in the NHL playoffs and in sports in general, Mikko Rantanen would just be storyline number 1 for me right now, because what he's doing is absolutely unreal shit. I have never seen somebody in the Stanley Cup playoffs take over as much as one skater has, as I'm seeing right now, and I'm not being over dramatic when I say that. I've been watching the entire playoffs, and this guy seems to be involved in every fucking goal.
Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one.
It is unreal to watch, and I feel slightly embarrassed because I remember back when he was on the Avalanche, I thought maybe, you know, he's getting a lot of his points because he's sitting there playing with McKinnon and a bunch of talented players over there. No, it turns out maybe they were holding this guy back because he's taken over the Stanley Cup playoffs like nobody I've ever seen. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Mikko Rantanen, if you don't know who he is, go find the fuck out, because the NHL world is finding the fuck out right now.
Just look at it. Just look at it. Yeah, well. What the heck is that?
And as far as the last series is concerned, it might be my favorite of all the series, which is the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Florida Panthers, which is somewhat proxy taken over as a fight for countries between Canada and the United States. Although it's a little funny because obviously you have American players on the Maple Leafs and you have Canadian players on the Panthers, but who really gives a shit? That's sort of the personality that this series has taken on, and they are beating the absolute shit out of each other. All these games are coming down to unreal finishes. If I was going to tell you guys to watch one series the rest of the way, I'm telling you guys to watch the Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers. This is electric playoff NHL television at its best, and you don't want to miss that shit either.
Whatever, I do what I want.
And storyline number one is the NBA playoffs. And specifically, the New York Knicks are about to knock off the Boston Celtics. And everybody and their mama counted the Knicks out.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
I heard Knicks fans counting the Knicks out before the series. Well, it was a good year so far, everybody.
Shama.
Okay, we made it a long way, everybody. Did you enjoy it? I sure did. All right, we'll see you next year. No, everybody relax. The Knicks said, chill the fuck out. Come here to save the day. Now, of course, Celtics fans are going to be crying injury.
Oh, look at him, fellas. You crying, boy? You crying, boy? Maybe we'll go back down to McDonald's and get you a Lamburger, some French fries. How about a Weineken? You little sissy boy! Def Leppard sucks!
I can understand why they would say that. But the truth of the matter is, injuries happen to every team every year in the playoffs. As a matter of fact, let's go through and check this out. Celtics, Jason Tatum. They've dealt with Porzingis being injured, right? Okay. What about the Cavaliers and the Pacers? Anything interesting going on in that one? Oh, Donovan Mitchell's injured. Oh, there's another one. That's a pretty good player, right? Donovan Mitchell? Oh, yeah. Have they had any other injuries that, so far this playoffs? Oh, that's right. They have.
All right, I get it!
There's been other players injured for the Cavaliers, too. Oh, did you look at that? It's like it's a war of attrition or something. Well, I mean, sure, certainly it can't be happening in any other series, right? What about the Timberwolves and the Warriors? I mean, everybody. Oh, Steph Curry, right?
You dick!
And then finally, what about the Thunder and the Nuggets? All right, nobody's heard that one. Oh, you got me.
And that's the truth. With some cheese on it. Yeah, ain't no meatloaf between these buns.
I'm hearing reports that their coach of the Denver Nuggets caught on fire before the playoffs. And you guys are out here crying about your day. Oh, Monday's so hard. This guy caught on fire before the playoffs. All right? Everybody's dealing with injuries. I'm sorry, what's that? Oh, he was fired before the playoffs. Oh.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope.
Reason number 2 why you should subscribe to JP26.
What do you got? Come on. Show me a little love. What do you think?
Because these 2 guns right here, baby.
You serious?
1, 2. Huh?
Oh, scary. Oh, shiver my timbers. Shut up, man.
All right, my friends, that is it. Before we get out of here, You guys already know the rules. Do not, if anything else, do not forget to like and subscribe.